Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'll be discussing Mizrak and really just letting this be a open discussion about how I feel about the character, why I feel like he's so popular, and why do I feel like the community, specifically the gay community, is so in love with him, myself included. So if you guys are interested in these type of conversations or interested in Castlevania Nocturne, please stick around. Also, I highly recommend that you guys support the official release. It is on Netflix season 1 and 2. So please check it out, come back, lots to discuss, and there will be more videos like this in the near future. So let's begin. So as you guys know, this is like my third video about Mizrak, and I just can't stop talking about him. You know, the more I think about it, because at first it was like a love-hate relationship where I liked his character, but I got a little upset with some of the hypocrisy and the things that he would say to Olrox. But I've taken some time to really think about why that is. And, you know, Mizrak at his core is actually a really solid character and a very well fleshed out one. And what's interesting is he's not even a main character, he is a supporting cast. And I think that, you know, we as the viewers, really, especially for those of us who are in the community, or just those of us who really appreciate his aesthetic, because that man looks good. And I say this in every video, they really cooked when they decided to put him together. That jawline, the muscles, even his voice actor, that voice is just, like, oh my gosh, like, Mizrak, I almost wish he's a real person. But anyways, Mizrak is really, in my opinion, one of the better characters in the Castlevania Nocturne series. And when I get to start thinking about why he does what he does, you know, he is a monk, first and foremost, and Catholic on top of that. So he's somebody who's very disciplined, who's very devout, who's very religious. And you could see that in his first introduction, like, he's unyielding in that. And I think that's really what attracted Olrox to him immediately, minus the fact that that man is fine. Like, I'm pretty sure Olrox looked at him and was just like, yeah, I want that. And he got that, like, literally like the same night. And I don't blame him. I would have been on that same time with him too. But I want to talk more about like that side of him, the part of him that is very passionate, and you could tell that he really does care about humanity. I was on the offense about him in the when the first season came out and we found out that he was supporting the abbot converting people into night creatures. I just kind of wrote him off as like evil, I'm not gonna lie. But as we get to know his character a bit more, you can see he's very conflicted from the jump. And it's not just conflicted with what the abbot is doing, he's also conflicted with his feelings with Olrox. And I think if you put yourself in his shoes, you know, considering that during those times, if you're not living your life by the good book, if you're not doing things as God would say that you should do them, you are going to be condemned to hell. And so with that context, it kind of lets me know, like, okay, that's why he's going so hard against Olrox, because at the end of the day, due to his faith says that how he feels about Olrox is not okay. His faith says that he cannot love a vampire because vampires don't even have a soul, according to his beliefs. So he knows these things, but his heart is telling him otherwise. And so it's like this big tug of war back and forth of, you know, do I follow my faith or do I follow my heart? And I think that's really the overarching message with Mizrak, and I think that's what the show and the creators are trying to bring home with him. Is he's an example of sometimes you just got to follow your heart, and no matter where that leads you, and it could lead him to an eternity of damnation. It might. Or he might be able to spend his rest of his life off with Olrox in, you know, marital bliss, and, you know, maybe hell isn't that bad. Who knows? But I do find that it's very interesting about his character, and I think that, you know, when we pull back the layers, we can kind of forgive some of his verbal lashings, because again, I have spent a lot of time dragging Mizrak for that mouth of his, because I just feel like he can be really mean. But in context, like, it makes a lot of sense when you really think about it. I also wanted to kind of touch base on Mizrak's design just a little bit. I know I said in the beginning of the video, like, he's very aesthetically pleasing, but has anyone noticed that he kind of favors Drake? Like, not to be funny, but I feel like when Drake goes to like the plastic surgeon, I feel like he would have a picture of Mizrak, and like that would be Drake. Does he not look like Drake? Just a little bit. Let me know in the comments if you think that he looks like Drake. No, he's just very, very well designed, and there's a couple scenes where like he's like fighting, and like you can just see like his shoulders, his forearms, his biceps, like his body isn't just immaculate, right? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so like you're a monk, and that's the other thing. He's a monk in like a religious setting. Why does he know how to fight? Like maybe there's like some historical context that I need to look up. I didn't know that the monks fought, because he's actually a very trained fighter. Like he's very skilled. So that's another thing that maybe I should do a little bit more deep dive on, like kind of his skill set, because I always thought monks were like very peaceful and, you know, not really, what am I trying to say? Like violence is never the answer. You know what I'm saying? But before I go into any like side tangents about Mizrak, because I will, I did want to thank the community for showing up for me in the way that they have in the last couple of weeks. Who would have thought that the Castlevania community would have been the community that I would tap into and see so much support? The last couple of weeks, I've gained about 50 to 60 new subscribers, and they're all from my Castlevania videos. I gotta say, originally I started this channel off doing Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach, kind of like the big three, and you know, I got traction, and I'm really appreciative of those subscribers, but the Castlevania community, like specifically, has just been so welcoming and so kind. So I wanted to thank you guys all for that. And of course, every comment, every like, every subscription really helps grow the channel. My goal is to hit 1,000. I'm currently at 600 subscribers, so we're almost there. It's gonna take a lot of hard work, a lot of consistency, but I'll get there. Getting back to Mizrak though, I feel like, this is me personally, that if I could date anyone in the Castlevania series, now that I've kind of like thought about Mizrak's intentions and just kind of, you know, his perspective of things, I'd date a Mizrak. Not because he's just gorgeous and he looks like he'd be a good time, but you can't buy that kind of passion. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just something you have or you don't. And now I can see why Olrox is so head over heels for him and why he can't see himself not being with him. So there's definitely going to be more Mizrak videos. I just wanted to hop on here and rant a little bit, or you know, talk about him some more, because listen, Mizrak is he's a fine man. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. What type of videos would you guys like to see from me in the future? There's definitely going to be more Olrox videos in the future, especially focusing more on his dragon, and I believe it's called Quetzalcoatl. I hope I pronounced that right. So there's definitely some discussion that needs to be had about Olrox and kind of like how he's going to play in the overarching narrative in season 3. So as always, you guys have a great rest of your week. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.